George believes that we are eternal beings. And that is why you believe in a higher power slash mind slash creator, George. That's a lot there. Okay. Why do you believe? Let me put it this way, George, you said what you believe. We want to know why. So why do you believe that we, I assume all human beings, are eternal beings? Give us your best summary, and we will take it from there.
So I believe that we are eternal souls, and a person is like a suit. And I believe there are infinite universes.
Okay.
And
all right.
reality.
Okay, I'm going to pause you right there before the wolf pack comes at you. Okay.
That's a lot in itself, right there.
That's a lot in itself. But George, I don't give a flying hoot. Right at this particular moment, what you believe. I want to know why you believe it. So back up, rewind the tape or whatever, and tell me why you believe those things, right? Because a lot of people call with all kinds of claims, 7-day week proves God, all this stuff, right? But I want to know why that's convincing, or why you believe those things. Okay, so tell us why. Start over again. Why?
So we have a non-physical side.
How do you know that?
Because the mind is very close to the non-physical.
How do you know that the mind is close to the non-physical?
The mind is also a construct like the individual person.
George, let's stick to one thing real quick. Why do you think the mind is non-physical? What's the reason that you have?
Because it is created by us this way.
Wait.
That's a just so
and
story.
When I say, excuse me, when I say us,
how do we use the mind and then create the mind? Like, that sounds like you have some weird bootstrapping issue there. Like,
yeah.
like you have to have the mind to I don't know.
George, I appreciate you calling in. All right. And I want to say that right off the bat. I don't know if you talk about these things all the time with friends and other people in your life, but it can be unusual to try to break down what are core beliefs to a bunch of strangers with what will be tens of thousands of people watching and criticizing every word you have to say. With that said, eventually you kind of get used to it and the hate comments. So what I'm going to say here is you have to speak to us like we're simple people. And it's not because we are stupid, although I make a very good case that I am. But we don't understand what you understand. So you're going to have to connect every single dot for us. Okay? Explain it like we're little kids. Okay.
Let me first say that, excuse me, there is a set number of souls that are eternal and have never been created.
All right, I'm going to stop you.
Why do we have so many assumptions?
George,
why are there so many assumptions?
George, how do you know that? You're going to have to. Okay, how do you know that souls exist? How do you know that they're created? How do you know that there's a set number? How do you know any of this?
There's so much baggage.
You're guessing. Like, maybe this is satisfying for you because you thought it up, or you heard it from somebody you trust, like one of our earlier callers. But like, how do you know this? Did you have a personal experience of this? Did you have a vision?
There are no visions.
All right, then how do you know any of this?
There are a couple of sources we know, but you get my point. What?
No.
My
I
point of
don't.
view
We
is.
don't get your point. That's the whole point. Is that we don't get your point because, like, look, I like to read philosophy, George. So I understand there's people with views like that think the mind's not physical. They think the brain's physical, but the mind isn't. There's people that think that everything's mental. Like, I get the claims of the views, understand them. We're just wanting to know why. And then when Johnny or I asked that question, you add something else that we also don't believe in, like soul stuff. So it's like you have all of this metaphysical baggage, that all of this assumptions that non-believers like us don't accept. So if like the goal is to convince us, why do you think you could ever convince us if the reason that you give us is assuming souls exist, which assumes the falsity of our position? Why would we ever look at that reason and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. I never thought about it that way. The soul thing that I deny, yeah, that's a good reason for me to believe to get to the chain of reasoning on this other thing, right? None of those links in the chain are even things that we accept. You have to give links in the chain that we accept so we can get to your conclusion. Otherwise, we're going to sit there and just say, why should we believe that? Why should we believe the soul thing?
Yeah, very well said, J. Mike. Now, George, go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning. Souls.
So,
what is a soul?
We are a family. We are a family of souls. Eternal.
Okay, George, thank you for making another assertion. And maybe this is convincing to you because you already believe it. We don't believe in souls. We don't really understand what a soul is because every time we get a different caller, they have a slightly nuanced understanding of it. But more importantly, we don't know that they actually exist in the really real world. So tell me why you believe, first of all, what is a soul?
I was about to say, because my only understanding is like it's constitutive of James Brown, baby. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Let me speak a little bit. We are souls, but the mind and the persona is a construct. So we are a family. That's why we are here together on the earth, and we are a family of souls, and we have infinite worlds to choose from. That is what we do.
Okay,
So many assumptions.
Great. George, what is a soul? Describe it. You found it in the dictionary. What is
You are
a soul?
a soul. You are a soul. Reality itself. You are the soul, but the person is a construct.
I'm Mike. What's a soul?
Yeah, George, I am a soul. Okay, I'm a lot of things to a lot of different people. All right? And that doesn't tell me anything. What do you mean I am a soul?
So far we got a soul is a soul. That's what we got so far.
Let me say this. We never leave heaven. We're dreaming in heaven right now.
Back to the question that's on the table. Objection non-responsive. What is a soul? Answer that question.
You are. It's you.
No, you keep saying you. Wait, Mike, George, please hold on for a sec. You keep saying you are a soul, right? Now I am a person. Johnny is a person. Are you implying that part of our person is the soul, or is all of our personhood the soul? And if it's not our whole personhood, what part of us is the soul?
You are the matrix. You are the soul.
That George, you're not listening to me. You didn't answer my question at all. It was like you didn't listen to me at all. Okay, so I'm gonna try again. You said that you are a soul when you said it to Johnny. So I'm looking at Johnny and I'm seeing a person there, but I don't see a soul there. So what part of Johnny are you calling the soul?
we are eternal beings with infinite mind.
George.
And we have infinite worlds, dimensions to choose from when we are on the other side, on the beyond.
Cool story, George. Okay, you say that I'm a soul, and you totally aren't answering this question. You've done nothing to illuminate my understanding. Communication is a means by which individuals use sounds or words, letters written or electronically conveyed or through voice to another person. The sounds are attached to words, the words are attached to meanings, and those meanings are meant to convey. So I want to understand better what you mean when you say that I'm a soul. In what sense am I a soul? Don't give me a little bracketed little like phrase. Give me a paragraph, not about infinite universes, not about this, not about that. How am I a soul? Keep talking, and I will keep listening.
Well, we are made in the image of to create and to choose. This is why we're here, to choose from a gamma, a palitra of things. It doesn't matter what we do. We're doing it for fun as eternal beings.
Yeah, no. That's not, I don't know if we have, if we're thinking on the same level. What is your definition of a soul? Don't tell me it's me. What is your definition of a soul?
Non-physical aspect of us.
Okay. I'm still getting a little bit, but it's still kind of circular because the whole thing we started with was the non-physical mind. But
I know I'm not.
George, I'm gonna tell you. Well, go on. What? Say again.
So it is made. Reality is a construct. It's a projection. It's a reflection, so that we can choose and create anything at all.
George, let me ask you this quick little question, okay? Are you a preacher? Are you a minister? Are you a practitioner of religious ceremonies in any way?
No, nothing like that. No cults, no religious stuff. I'm Orthodox Christian. I'm baptized, but I'm from Eastern Europe, so it's a little bit this and that.
It is a little bit this
so
and
what
that
you
over
want to
there.
know?
It's
What
true.
you ask me anything?
Well, I guess what I was trying to figure out is the way that you're talking to us, George, is it's, and so perhaps this is something you could, a field you could go into, but you're taking for granted, it seems to me, in the way that you're conveying to us your thoughts. You're taking for granted that we already understand a lot of base level, like introductory level concepts, and we've accepted those concepts as true. All right. That there is such a thing as a soul, that there is such a thing as an immaterial existence, right? That there is such a thing as a coming into being and a passing away of identity through what was called a spiritual process, whatever that means, dimensions, universes, and that kind of stuff, and God and all that jazz. We don't. Believe that it exists, and we can't even comprehend how it would work. So in order to get us to your even like mid-ground destination, right, you have to start way in the back, way in the beginning. Like do you have any children or any nieces or nephews or anything like that?
What was that?
Do you have any children in your life of whom you have a familial relationship?
No. I don't.
Okay. Well, because I was going to suggest if you were explaining to a child the concept of a soul, I would like to hear what that explanation is. And if you had a kid or a niece or a nephew or some friend who had kids, that might be helpful, but you don't. Okay. All right. So we could keep talking, and I guess we will, because it may be that we have some really good material here, folks in the audience, but we have to really kind of get down to brass tacks. So in your definition of soul, there is a non-material aspect of a person's existence. You would agree with that, right?
Actually, the individual and the mind is a construct. We are the matrix itself.
Okay.
I don't know. What does that even mean? That just sounds like nothing.
Well, George said before, we are all up in heaven, and what's happening here on earth is a dream. He said that to us before. I don't agree with any of that.
Yeah.
And I would like to have that proven.
Yeah. Good one, Kelly. Go ahead. And George, I don't know how I was so on point when I said I wanted to know the why, but go ahead. Proof of God. But give us evidence.
Let me add something.
No.
Please don't add any more. We are asking you.
Add one more you. That's you.
Yeah.
We are asking you to show us evidence of what you have already said. We don't want you to add more to it. We want here. Look, think of it as this. Think of it as a math problem. 2 + 2 = 4. You've shown us the 4. Now show us the 2 + 2 part that got you to the 4. How did you get to soul? We all have souls, and souls are eternal. Show us the math problem that got you to that answer.
The world is a reflection. It's a projection of.
You're just repeating the same thing again. You're not telling us how you got to that belief.
Yeah.
Do you read Bernardo Castro per chance? Because I feel like that's what he's doing.
You get this? I have a couple of sources from YouTube.
Oh boy!
If he says the name that I just said, it'll all make sense to me in a minute.
What is one of the YouTubers that you like to watch?
Oh, let's not promote him.
Yeah.
So you want me to straight to say yes?
George,
we've gotten nowhere in this conversation.
George, let me ask you this. You say that you get this evidence from a YouTuber, right? And we're YouTubers. Do you think that what we're saying, everything we're saying is true? Do you think that everything do you think that everything we say is true because we're on YouTube?
Well, you say facts and you say
I didn't say that I didn't say that at all, and that's not answering my question. It's a very simple question. The three of us are on YouTube. Do you think that everything we say on YouTube is the truth?
No way. It's not like
Okay. That's the answer I was looking for, and that's the correct answer. Now, you say that you got all this information from another guy on YouTube. What makes you think that guy is telling you the truth just because he's on YouTube?
There are a couple or three sources like that.
Okay, here, let me add to the source, George. Let me add to the pile of sources, because this is the substance I think your source is. I'm on YouTube right now. I guess you could call me a YouTuber. God isn't real. Okay, yep. There's a source for you on YouTube, on the internet, and has just as much support as any of the other things you're saying.
And right? I'm going to say God isn't real. Johnny, you want to say it too?
It's not good evidence. Just because like 3 YouTubers on an atheist channel just say it isn't good evidence.
Because that was 3 sources.
Yeah.
If all 3 of us say it, and that's just what you said. You had 3 sources. So what's the difference between us and them?
What the videos contain is like people get together in a big hall and they ask questions.
That sounds like what we
To
do.
the person, to the people.
So, the source of the information that you get, is it? Would you say it's fair? Was it fair to say that the format is that there is a thinker or a wise man who is sitting on a stage or surrounded by people in some other way among the people, and that person is speaking truths to the crowd, and the crowd asks the speaker questions about the speaker's belief and the nature of reality? Is that the format that you're talking about?
Yes, people in your country make gatherings, and it's very nice, very fun, but they use the person, the speaker, as a telephone, angels, and ETs from the future. Okay?
Right. Okay. George, I honestly can say that I don't understand what on earth you're talking about. And I've really been trying to understand because I'm trying to figure out if you've been watching like an Osho, kind of like a mystical shaman kind of person who's spouting out what you've been doing, like statements, declarations, bald-faced, unsubstantiated assertions about the nature of reality and our individual existence, and then other people ask questions, and that the person just says more. Wherever you're learning how these conversations work, on YouTube or in person, it's not effective for us to have a conversation in that format, because I don't understand your position any more than when you started the conversation, because I don't think you understand the idea of why. Why does not mean I can give you another adjective. Why does not mean I can give you another fact. Why means provide us the factual, logical evidence that underlies the truth value of a statement, right? The car is blue. What would be an example of how you prove that? Well, I could take you to the car and I could show you. I could also get like a little spectrometer or something, and I could read the wavelengths reflecting off of the car, and it falls within a certain category, and I can say, that's red. That's what we call red, friend. You know, I could get a bunch of people who could say, oh yeah, it's red. What color is the car? It was red. A bunch of people could provide testimony to it. But there's a way you could verify the truths. You've given us nothing to verify any of the many claims you've made about the non-material world, souls, all that stuff. You're just saying more crap. And it may very well be true, but we can't get to the heart of whether it is, because you won't play the game, man. So I'm done. Kelly, J. Mike, last thoughts.
I'm I'd ask what is a soul, but I don't want to go. I just got over
It's you, J. Mike.
crying, so I'm not going to do that again. But nope, I'm good. Kelly, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't think we're getting anywhere either. So I don't think that George understands what we're asking for, and it might be a language problem, but I don't think he understands what we're saying.
Yeah,
George?
and I wanted to. Yeah, sorry, I did want to say if there's a language issue, I apologize there, and I do want to apologize to you, George. I was laughing during the call. I wasn't laughing like directly at you. The responses that you kept giving, though, like the content of the responses were just like, I mean, they're just great. They're just beautiful for me. So I appreciated that. It was interesting. But I would say that you don't want that type of response. You want to have people believe you when you say stuff. And presumably if your case is really defensible, it's true, right? Kind of like taking Johnny to the car and showing him, that you can include the out group, right? The out group, people that aren't part of your in group, will see that and go, yeah, that fact is true. Yeah, of course it's true. It shouldn't be so context specific to the in group, right? And so I don't think that when you are giving these examples, like you might get a bunch of people inside the group that go, yeah, George, you're onto something. This is great. But the test really should be the tool of the skeptic that you create for yourself. You want to create this tool for yourself that goes, if I'm wrong about this, what would the skeptic say, right? What would their objection type be, right? You want to create that tool everywhere you go in life. It's just my advice.
Yeah. And I would
Let me
say
something.
Please.
So the a world like ours has perks for the non-physical side, because if you have an infinite mind, there's nothing to choose from. You're already there.
Minds
When
aren't infinite.
You're not. Yeah, you're just saying more BS, man. It's not. It's you're not landing anything here with us.
I mean, because Kelly.
We've given you plenty of chances to try to explain the claims that you're making, and you just keep saying the same thing over and over and over without trying to explain why you think it's real. That's
George,
that's what we want to know. Why do you think this is real? Why do you think we have souls?
Yeah.
Why do you think the mind is infinite? Why do you think souls are eternal? And you haven't given us a single answer to any of those questions.
George, this is not going to be something that you like to hear, but I would love it if you would send an email to tv@atheist-community.org. And if you would write down your thoughts in a several page long essay, okay? Every time you come to a word, I would like you to provide a footnote. And I would like you to define that word. And that sounds ridiculous, right? But you're using words like soul, spirit, heaven, whatever. Anytime you come to a word that maybe somebody might not know what is meant by that word, I would like you to provide a footnote with a definition. And if in that definition you come to another word or phrase that could maybe not be understood by someone because it's a complicated thought or whatever, you have a special understanding of it, provide a footnote for that footnote. And you will see how frustrating it will be to talk to you, because everything you've said has a special meaning. And whenever asked about the meaning of that phrase, you give another meaning, another claim, another set of assumptions. We can't even begin to have a conversation, George, until you define the terms that you're using. And I don't think you really understand that. I thought you were a preacher, because a lot of charlatans will do that. They'll just get the momentum going, and then they'll start spouting nonsense. And then there's a lot of people out there in YouTube land who like to be wowed by smart words. Jordan Peterson fans, for example, love it when he goes off on a tear, because it sounds so smart and deep and meaningful and complex. And I'm part of that now too. So I'm deep and smart and meaningful and complex. But that's just not the way how real communications work. So, George, I think I'd love to have you call back again, but I would like you to go through the exercise at the very least of articulating your beliefs on the existence of the soul, and you called specifically about eternal beings and a higher power, mind, and creator. Write it all down in an essay, define your terms, and maybe send it or don't send it back to us, and we can continue this conversation. But until such time, I'm going to have to let you go. All right? So you take care. And guys, what just happened?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
I've moved on mentally.
Yeah, so did I. So did I. I was just like, we're not getting
I was not getting too invested in that.